has been taken away. This is just considered total sales, okay? Total sales. This is just considered what you sold in one day. All right, guys. So it's 1 million in revenue, now a millionaire, okay? Again, what is revenue? Revenue is total earnings, amount of money that you generated, your total sales that you did on a daily basis. It's called total serving. So if you go out there, again, I want to repeat this one more time. If you go out there and you make a sale, if you do a hot tub for 300, you take away that 300 bucks and they send it to you Venmo, Cash App, Zelle or something, or you put it in your pocket cash, that is what you made in one day, okay? That's what you made in one day is a total sales. We have not taken away any of your expenses. But let's go to expenses. Let's talk about what expenses are. By the way, I want to talk about how much money in revenue, only in revenue. I've already told you what revenue is. Revenue is anything you make on a daily basis. You have not subtracted any expenses. Nothing. You haven't subtracted gas. You haven't subtracted fuel, flat tires, insurance. Nothing. This is only what you took in on a daily basis, okay? There are 365 days out of the year. Out of those 365 days, there are 260 days that you're allowed to work in. That's Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays. But I wanted to get how many actual days you actually work, not including the 52 days that you have with the weekends and 52 days that you have to addition, same thing with the holidays and the weekends, okay? 260 days of work days, okay? Just to make $1 million in revenue, $1 million, you have to make $4,000 a day. You cannot make $4,000 with one truck. You just can't. Every day, for 260 days, you have to make $4,000 every day with one truck. That's not possible at all. At all. That's just not possible. I know that there's a lot of people that have made, $5,000 a day, $20,000 in a day, $10,000 in a day. I know there's people like that, and that's cool. People are chiming in here. Thanks. But in reality, you have to make $4,000 daily. Dailies. Okay? Daily. For free. Fuck that. Who said that? Mac. What are you talking about? Mac? Seafrost says, you guys are idiots for giving info away for free. Fuck that. Oh, man. Yeah, Hitler. Mac, what the hell are you talking about? What's wrong with you, brother? All right, so $4,000 a day in revenue. Every day for 260. Okay, Junk Underdog says, today I just got a check for $4,000. Awesome. So Junk Underdog, tomorrow you got to get a check for $4,000. You got to get a check Wednesday for $4,000, Thursday for $4,000, and Friday for $4,000. Okay. So every single day you have to make revenue of $4,000, and that will come out in 260 days to about $1 million. Okay, $1 million. Now I want to talk about what you actually have to make any money. BEP, break even point. What is the break even point to make any money? Because see, guys, anybody can make $1 million in revenue. There's a lot of companies that make $1 million in revenue, okay? But nobody makes $1 million in profit. And I want to give that kind of talk about the expenses. Let's talk about expenses. I'm happy with the $1,000. Well, Holloway, if you want to be a millionaire, brother, you better make $4,000. We're going to get to that in a minute, okay? Because we haven't took away expenses yet. Let's talk about expenses really fast, because I think a lot of people underrate their expenses, okay? Don't forget, $4,000 a day makes you a millionaire. Oh, that's just revenue, okay? We talked about that already. All right, so what are expenses? Truck payment, trailer payment, tires, fixing a flat tire, maintenance such as oil, changes of braking lights, filters, anything like that. Insurance, dump fees, fuel, those are expenses. But let's talk about expenses that you need to run your business other than your trucks, okay? You got to park your trailer somewhere. You got to get a headquarters. If you don't have a headquarters, you got to park your trailer somewhere. You need a telephone, a mobile phone, or a landline. You need internet. Either that's coming, you're doing this at home, you're watching this video at home, you're watching on your phone. You need water. You need electric. If you have a headquarters. If you don't, you still need electric to live. You need marketing. A lot of people market. They get hats, they get shirts, they get logo stuff, they get cards, they get hanging signs, door hangers, street signs, car wraps. Number 6, you need lead generations. You need to pay for lead generations. You got to work, right? You got to work, so that's an expense. Stationery, paper, pens, stuff like that. You can get that in junk removal. If you have a bank account, they're going to charge you for bank charges. Bank charges. That's just regular, having bank charges. Insurance. You need insurance for your headquarters or your parking or maybe just overall insurance, an umbrella insurance. And you got to pay your taxes, federal taxes. Those are just expenses to run the business. So we talked about expenses in your vehicle. Now we're talking about expenses to run your business. Okay? If that makes any sense. Let's talk about unexpected expenses. Unexpected things that you didn't see coming, but they got you. Huge repairs on your truck or trailer. Rate increases. Don't know what that is. Number 3, medical expenses. You got hurt at the job. That costs. Maybe one of your dogs died. Pet expenses. Unplanned travel. Unplanned travel. You got to go somewhere. You got to do something. Someone died in your family. You got to go cross country. Number 5, seasonal expenses. Seasonal expenses. Let's talk about one of those seasonal expenses. Something like maybe Christmas. How about your truck gets stuck in the weather, cold and ice, and you can't leave? That's an unexpected expense. You got to get it out. You got to waste time, and then you lose that. You lose sales that day, so it's kind of unexpected. How about an unexpected rise in bills? Like the economy right now, everybody's got unexpected. Yeah, food's expensive. Everything's expensive right now. All right, let's talk about that. Now, I also want to talk about just fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are expenses that you have to do to keep your business running. Rent, mortgage, truck payment, trailer payment, lead generation. You got to pay your employees' salary, insurance, fuel, dump fees, your phone. All those are fixed expenses. You can't really change that. No matter what, you got to pay those. And if you don't pay those, you can't stay in business, period. And that's just the reality of that. You have to have those expenses. Those are called fixed expenses, guys. Fixed expenses. A variable expense is something that you can really play with. You can fire an employee. You can do it by yourself. But a lot of people don't do this business by themselves other than me. There's a few people that do it by themselves, which is weird to me. You can maybe lay off or maybe part-time somebody. That's labor. That's a variable expense. Maybe you don't eat a lot that month. And you kind of give up on the groceries. You don't eat that much food. You take a diet. You don't travel for long jobs. So you can kind of lower down your gas expense, your fuel. You can kind of play that. And you don't go out. You never go out. You never take your wife out. You never take your kids out. You never go out ever. You don't have a beer, nothing like that. That's an entertainment expense. Those are variable expenses. You can change all that stuff. But I want to talk about one of the biggest expenses that you don't see. Now, this was only business expenses. This is just business expenses. Because see, guys, mortgage to your house is not paid out of your business, but you pay it anyway. Everybody does that. How about mortgage? How about insurance, gas, water, electric for your house, your kids going to school, All those are expenses. But you know what? We're not going to talk about those. Don't forget about that, because that is also an expense to your business. Because see, as a small business owner, we don't take those things in consideration, but we're still paying them. I pay it every day. Okay? Let's go back to how much money you need to make. $4,000 in sales. In earnings, the amount of money that you generate daily, $4,000 daily, to sell $1 million a year. That's what you got to do. And you're going to do that with one truck. 260 days. There's 365 days out of the year, but there's only 260 days that you actually work. Every day for those 260 days, you got to make $4,000. So let's say you have expenses. You have some of these expenses that I mentioned. I have a lot of these expenses except the truck payment and the trailer payment. Everything else I probably have, except the lead generation. There's a few things that I don't have on this, but other than that, I have most of them. Yeah, okay. I'm going to make a number up right now for expenses. So let's say you have $1,000 in revenue in one day, just one day. So you take $1,000. How much really do you take in that? With all these expenses, a lot of people say 10%, 8%, 20%. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and just say that everybody's at 50%. So out of $1,000, you're going to take home $500. Everybody's going to do that. I'm overextending that number a lot. There are some companies that are going to do 80%. There are some companies that are going to do 70%. Some of them are going to do 50%. Some of them are going to do 8%, 10%, 20%. I'm going to round that number off and do 50%. So if you make $4,000 a day in revenue, you have to take away 50% for margins. That's the margin. Come on, 50%. So you now have made $500,000 in profit. That's what you're putting in your pocket like this. Putting it in your pocket. And then your bank account should say $500,000. That's what it should say. Life doesn't work like that, guys. It just doesn't work like that. To make $1 million a day, you need to make $8,000 in revenue. And then the 50% margins, and you will have $1 million in the bank. You cannot do that with one truck. To make $8,000, you need a fleet of trucks. You need at least 4 to 5 trucks to make $8,000 in revenue and have 50% margins, which is a number that I greatly extended to everyone. I made up that number of 50% margins, which is impossible. So if you think you see these videos of people saying that they're millionaires on Facebook, you see these people saying this on YouTube, or you see it on TikTok, that means every day they're making $8,000 for 260 days straight. Monday, 8,000. Tuesday, 8,000. Wednesday, 8,000. Thursday, and they did it with about 4 to 5 trucks. $8,000. That means on a weekly basis, they're selling 8 times 5 is $40,000 a week. And then you take away 50% margins and they make $20,000, $20,000 a week, 52 weeks, blah, blah, blah. You got $1 million profit. And that's what's in your bank. We all know that that number is greatly exaggerated, is impossible to meet. But I want you to consider that it cannot be done with 2 trucks. Yeah, Anthony Lopez, thank you. That's crazy. But it's common sense, Anthony. It's common sense. It's really common sense. Don't believe people out there when they're saying they're making $1 million in, they're millionaires. Or they made $1 million. It's not. The number's not even close. I said 50% margins. We all know that if you're doing lead generation and you have truck payments, trailer payments, you're paying for marketing, you're paying for employees, which is your highest expense is employees, that your margins are at least 20 or less percent. There is no way that you're at even 50. Do not try to feed me this bull crap. It's not working. I'm not an idiot, guys. We are not idiots in junk removal. We are hard workers, blue collar, beating ourselves up on a daily basis, hauling off junk. That's what we do. We are not that dumb. Don't think that you're making $8,000 and have 50% margins. There are not a lot of companies out there that have 50% margin. I'm going to tell you something straight up. I've had conversations with people. I have conversation with a guy that has 5 trucks, a lot of expenses, and his margins are 9%. 9! But he makes $1.5 million in revenue and has $3,000 in the bank. That is a true story. I don't lie about that. Okay? I don't lie about that. That is true 100%. His margins are 9%. $22 employees, 5 trucks, insurance, all that, whatever, man. It's just, that's it. To make $1 million in revenue, you need $4,000. Okay? A day for 260 days straight. Every single day. Xavier Calderon, 50% margins was an exaggeration by me. Okay? 50% margins are hard to get. They're just hard. If you have employees and you're paying lead generations, that number is a hard number to meet. Listen, if you have employees, that number is a difficult. Kenny Mickens, I'm going to tell you something, Kenny. According to most of these sites, he says, they're ballers, right? Don't believe it, man. Don't believe it. It is hard to make money in junk removal. The margins, the lead generation, the build of your website, just everything is, don't believe it. We are not idiots. I'm sorry, guys. We are smart individuals. We're humans. Don't believe people are making 50% margin. It's impossible to make that. It's impossible. If you have leads, if you're paying for leads, let's talk about leads really fast. If you're paying for Google AdWords, Thumbtack, Home Advisor, TripAdvisor, House Call Pro, whatever, those are lead generation companies. If you have more than 1 employee, if you have 2 employees, if you have a fleet of trucks, and your margins are 50%, and I'm going to tell you something, that was an exaggeration. Okay? Exaggeration. I know, Daniel, I know, okay? I know Andrew, he's a personal friend of mine. Just listen to me. To make $250,000 in K, and I think he has like 2 or 3 trucks, something like that. I want you to take that number and consider, okay? And consider what he had to do to make $250,000 profit. The number's not there. I'm sorry, guys. The number is not there, okay? It's not there, okay? We said 50% revenue. He's a good friend of mine. I'm not throwing him out there. Just when people say lavish things like this, it's impossible for me to even look at it and think about what numbers are they in, okay? I had a conversation with a business owner. He paid me $1,000. I got paid $1,000 to look at his paperwork. I cannot say who this is. That was a big agreement. And this is one of the reasons I'm doing this video. If you think helping people makes him an idiot, I'm sure happy the world doesn't work that way. I owe a lot to everyone, but especially Ricardo, I'm very grateful that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Albert Johnny. Help so many us and doesn't have your mindset. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I got consulted for about $1,000 about a month ago. Okay, and golly, Jamon. And a company sent me all their paperwork. I looked at all their expenses. I looked at everything. And he wanted me to take a look at it, call him. We had a good contract, okay? We had a good contract. It was for 5 days. I would look at all his paperwork. I would consult him. We did video, Zoom calling. I sent him over variables every single day, okay? And this guy... You know what's weird about this? I never even knew that his business existed. Never knew it. Never knew it. But he does junk removal in a cold area. So it's nowhere in Texas or California. We know that. And I told him that I wouldn't talk about it, but I want to talk about what his paperwork looked like, okay? This guy had 5 trucks. He had 5 trucks. They looked like 1-800 junk trucks. His sales were a little over $1.6 million a year. $1.6 million a year with all his trucks. His guys were out there daily. I mean, he was doing like $30,000 a week. He was making money. I'm not going to lie to you. He was making money. Wow. No joke, huh? And... his margins were about 11%, okay? 11%. And then he asked me, Ricardo, I want you to look at this. I have over 19 employees, this and that and this, truck payments, all this, and I have investors, they want to know what's going on. And I told him, after looking at all his paperwork and him paying me, I told him what was wrong with his business. He doesn't have enough margins to make any money at all. $1.6 million. His expenses, if I told you he spent a little over $400,000 with Google AdWords, that would make you say, oh my gosh. You know, that's what he spent. He had over $150,000 in thumbtack. Yes, $150,000. His trucks, one of his truck payments, just one of his trucks, and remember he had 5. One of his trucks, that's all logoed out. One was $1,100. That's not with insurance. With insurance, each one of his trucks, but he had a bulk price, so each one of his trucks is insured for about $400 a month. Already there, I knew something's wrong. He's paying about $1,500. That's not even including his employees. I want to make a long story short. I asked him, how much money, how much profit do you make monthly? How much money do you have in the bank? And you know what he told me? Okay, you ready, guys? You ready? He said he always has a little, a round number, of $9,000 to $10,000 revolving in his bank account. When a truck breaks down, he has about $3,000 in his bank account. $1.6 million in sales, in revenue, and nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. He could be a school teacher and make more money. I don't know. I told him his solution. What was his solution to fix this problem? Easily. I told him, you have to get rid of some of your employees and some of your trucks. Send them back where you got them from. Don't stop paying on them. You don't have enough work. By the way, he was only doing 3 or 4 jobs daily on his trucks for each one of his 2 employees on these trucks. He had a sales manager. He had a marketing manager. He had every kind of manager. I'm telling you, he was not making any money. He was paying 19 employees, something like that. If you would have heard this conversation, I wish I could have recorded it. I wish he would come on this video and just tell and see, $10,000 in the bank. And sometimes he has 3, sometimes he has 4, but he's never gone over that mark. So that was kind of disappointing. Yeah. Was he charging properly for? No. It's not that. It's not that, Michael. The thing is, he had too many expenses. He was digging a hole. Every month, he was just digging a hole, Michael. There's no sales that could have got him out of that. There's just no sales. So I think what we're doing is concentrating too much on his sales. We need to talk about his expenses. His expenses were crazy, Michael. He had too many people. His trucks were okay, I guess. Not really. But they weren't paid off for like 6 years. He's only been doing this for 2. And every month, he told me that the most he's ever had in the bank was $40,000. And then the next week it was like $10,000. And then the next week it was $3,000. Then his truck broke down. And then he had to borrow money from his investor. And then it was like $10,000. And it's always rotating money around the $10,000 mark. You have to realize, guys, these people saying that they made $250,000, $500,000 in a year, the number's not there. It's just not there. You're paying for leads. Leads is going to be a good 20%, 15% of the business. You're paying for employees. That's another 40%. You know what I mean? It's not possible to meet numbers like that. It's just hard. So if you see this stuff on Facebook, if you see this stuff on TikTok, if you see this stuff on YouTube, it's not feasible. Michael Oates says $1.5 million in sales only covers 5 to 6 employees, 2 newer trucks, and a used backup. Brother, I'm telling you, Michael, this guy had 19 employees. It might be. I don't know who it is, Daniel. I can't tell you. I signed a contract for my $1,000 consulting. I did say I was going to bring it up, but I'm not going to say his name, and I can't say anything like that. I do want to talk about another gentleman that actually sent me his paperwork. I have it here. And I want to talk about his sales. He went to a financial advisor, and the financial advisor gave him notes. I have the notes here. So his BEP, which stands for break even point. Okay? Break even point. She writes him a letter and says to work out, the 2 staff members should receive a full pay regardless of the hours worked. Blah, blah, blah. If you're running a profit, this is just a break even point. That this guy, if you only have 2 employees on staff, his minimum should be $1,000 per day in total sales. That was his break-even point. That means just to break even, that's not making any money. He's got to make $1,046 in sales, in revenue. Just to BEP, break-even point, just to make that. Okay? I'm giving advice, and I just saw this one. iDaddyPound says, I was going to sign up for consulting with Tim Doss, but he talked so bad about you that I decided I didn't want to go to. Well, thank you very much. I'm giving you advice right now for free. Look at my videos. Tim Doss, dude, whatever. Yeah. Okay? I've made fun of Tim Doss to his face, and he couldn't say anything to me. The guy's crazy, dude. Junk mob, junk boss, junk iPad, junk whatever. I'm not going to get into it. So I want to get back to this. If you have 2 employees on staff, break-even point is $1,046. That means you go out there daily and you're not doing absolutely nothing, no money in the bank, nothing's coming in, You're just paying bills. Now, she writes him back another email. So, she tells this guy to make $500,000, that's $500,000 in a year in revenue. To make $5,000 in revenue a year, you need to make $2,000 a day. Okay? $2,000 a day. To make any profit, oh boy. Just imagine what that number is. If he has 1 employee, he needs to make $800 to break even. 2 employees, $1,046. 3 employees, $1,570. These were his numbers. I just want you to realize that, okay? I just want you to realize that. To make any profit with 2 employees, he's got to make a little over $1,300, $1,333. That's so he could put, $20 in the bank or something like that. Anything, just to stay alive, He's got to make over $1,300 just to stay alive. We're not talking about making money where you can go buy a car. We're talking about just staying alive and making something. Like getting $50 and putting it in your pocket and telling your wife, hey, honey, I made $50 today. I'm going to go spend it on groceries. To break even, that means coming home with no grocery money, no $50, nothing. He's got to make $1,046. $500,000 in sales. His margins, let's get to the margin part, okay? His margins were a lot better. It says here on the paperwork. Oh, man. Well, his expenses weren't that bad, so he's got to be in the 15 to 20%, somewhere around there. I'm just reading the paperwork. Wow. His overhead doesn't change. In this person that wrote this paperwork, I'm looking at the paperwork right here. I downloaded the paperwork. She is Asian. She's good at math. She's really good at math. And she knows what she's talking about. And I believed it when I saw it. I was like, holy cow, this is right. And I looked over this stuff. Oh my gosh. Dude, this stuff is crazy. Like the numbers are so hard to me. I'm gonna see. No, I can't bring this up. I told him I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to him. I can't show you all this stuff. Anyway, guys, right now, if you got any questions about the break-even point, if you got any questions about revenue and sales, hit me up. I will answer them right now. I don't mind. It's not a big deal. So if you got any questions. It's not the sales. It's not the sales. It's always the expenses, guys. You got to realize that. I'm a big, pro about expenses. Okay, Michael Oates says something like this. He says, 1 employee with a 3-year-old truck, $800 a month payment, and a dump trailer, $6,000 paid off, average $1,200, let's say 45% profit average. Okay. Paid off. I average $1,200 a day in sales. So that's what's almost 45%. $550 off the top of my head. $500. So your profit is $500 a day in sales. That's not bad. I don't even know what that is a year. That's 260 days. 260 times 450, something like that. A little over $100,000. Not bad. 1 truck, not bad. There's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding how much money you have to make to be a millionaire or make $1 million. $8,000 a day. You know what I mean? 50% margins, which is just impossible to meet. We know that. It's impossible to meet. The only people that meet above 50% profit, I'm just 50% margins. The only companies that can meet 50% margins, I'm going to tell you who they are. They work by themselves. They subcontract work. They're on the truck daily, and they have more than 1 truck. They have multiple trucks. Multiple. Why? Because they got to move so fast. They got to switch from truck to truck. They got to have some kind of retail. They got to have some kind of recycling program, retail program. They got to have something. And those people make above 50% margins. Okay? 50% margins. So, Daniel Gallo says, my truck payment is $300. Insurance is $200 for my trailer. Is paid off. Big thanks to you for my business structure. Anytime, Daniel. Anytime. Michael says, I add in some items for a little scrap. I'm happy. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, guys, it's so hard. And see, a lot of people, even though so Michael, let's take Michael's numbers. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm going to take your money. Michael says he makes about $1,200 in sales daily. He does that 200. Let's just assume, Michael, that you make $1,200 in revenue every day for 260 days. That means tomorrow you'll make $1,200. The next day, average. It's just an average. So you take that and you times it by 260,000. That's a little over $312,000, and then you times that by 45%. About a 140. Hold on one second. 312. 140. Boom. Buck. Oops. My bad. 1200. 140. About 117, somewhere around there. So a little over $100,000 Michael would take. And a lot of people don't take this in consideration, is that even though those are his numbers, he still has a house mortgage, a mortgage payment. He still pays for his wife's car. If he has a wife or girlfriend, he still pays gas, electric. So the money's gonna go. It flows out. There's a lot more expensive. But when we talk about business expenses, that's what I wanted to concentrate, was business expenses. The number is a hard number to meet. Okay, don't believe the hype, guys. Don't believe the hype. And this is why I said 1 million in revenue now, a millionaire in junk removal. Michael Oates. That's funny. No, listen, Michael. And I want to say this statement, okay? I want to say this statement. And I want to make it clear to everybody. Everybody sees me on YouTube. You know what's cool? I got recognized twice on Friday night. That was pretty cool. And I bring that up because we were out. Me and my wife were out, so I kind of got like the clout, right? And I always tell my wife, hey, man, people recognize me, you know? So people recognize me. People know that I'm the YouTube guy. I'm the junk removal guy. I make money. I make good money doing this. I'm not a millionaire. I have expenses just like everybody else does. You know what I mean? I don't make $1 million. And I'm not ashamed to say that. My sales are really good. I have expenses too. That's why I try to tell everybody that your expenses are ridiculous. I save a lot. I do save a lot of money. And the cool thing about it is I can go daily. I don't have to work for 6 months. I can live off what I have. I can live off the money that I've saved. There's so many things that I look forward to. When I go to a restaurant, I really don't look at the prices of food because I don't have to worry about small stuff like that. When I buy a car, I have to look at the price of cars. I mean, I don't go buy a house. I can't afford a house and pay it cash. But I look at stuff like that. You know, I look at stuff like that too, just like everybody else does. So don't think I'm sitting here flaunting money and stuff like that. I don't have that type of money. You know, when it comes to working, I know how to make money in junk removal and make good margins in junk removal. I stay really high above the 50% margin. I stay way above that. One reason is, the two main reasons, I'm not paying for leads and I'm not paying for employees. Those are the highest ones that we got there. So I'm not doing that. And I don't have any car payments, so Michael Oates says he's still broke. Well, of course, Mike, everybody's broke. Everybody's like that. You know, come on, everybody's like that. You don't want to be, it takes time to be where you want to get to. You know what I mean? It just takes time. I will tell you that as my business grew and it grew up and it matured, I started noticing more profit. So hang in there. It will work out. I'm going to go on the chat here on YouTube. It says, Hana Rudy. It says, I paid $11,000 cash for my truck and $15,000 cash. I paid $11,000 cash for my, and $50,000 cash. I've seen a lot of $90,000 trucks with a $500 in my area. Okay, I would like to buy a $90,000, but I don't want the payment. I want that paycheck. Of course. And you know, I tell everybody, the same thing. Don't go buy a $90,000 truck. Your payment's going to be $1,400, $1,200. I don't care how kind of credit it is. It's just like that. That's how expensive it is. Bad Boys Junk Removal says, you're a big inspiration for me. Can't believe the other guy said that the junk mob was talking bad about you. I started watching him for advice and then he disappeared, so I found you. Dude, I don't even know why people watch him. That guy has like 6 businesses in junk removal. They're like, he makes up so many names for his business. I did a video. If you look at my history in videos, I have over 2,700 videos online, and there is one video that I totally dissect that guy Doss. And you just look at it and you'll go, oh shit, this guy's really, really fake, dude. This guy's crazy fake. Like, mentally, like something wrong with the guy, okay? When would he ever talk about some topic like this? Think about this. When would Tim Doss ever talk about a topic like this that I'm talking about, where I detailed everything? Look, I have notes, man. I don't make this shit up. I made notes. I take my time to make notes about, look, I have like notes and shit that I make. Look, I made like notes to talk about this because this is what I do. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a fucking nerd. You know, I'm a nerd. I don't know what it's called, Daniel. I think Tim Doss is on it. Maybe look on my channel and type in Tim Doss or Junk Mob. Oh yeah, maybe it's called Junk Mob. Something like, I guess the keywords would be Junk Mob or Tim Doss. I think something like that. I'm not sure. If you want me to, I'll look for it really quick. But I put it on there. So I just want everybody to be sure that, you know, that things are like, you know, that people are not real, man. That people talk about fake stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? People are out there saying crazy stuff all the time, and they're not really, you know, connecting with what junk removal really is. What junk removal it really is. You know what I mean? They'll tell you what they want to tell you because they're going to try to sell you something, man. I guess. I have no idea. But people will say that. I'm looking for the video on my channel really fast. But I did do a video about it. Damn. Where is my YouTube studio. So the reality is, guys, that it takes a lot. Junk Mob. Oh, yeah. I think the keyword was Junk Mob. I can't find it. Tim Doss? No. I can't find it. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. So, you know, yeah, Tim Doss makes $1 million a day. And that guy's crazy. Anyways, I just wanted to tell y'all that. I'm hoping that the information I gave, you makes it reality that, you know, it will work for you or it won't work for you to make money in junk removal, if the margin's going to be there, if the profit is going to be there. Don't think about how much you sell daily. Don't think about that. That's not what you should think about. You should really think about expenses. How much money can you save off junk removal? I think a lot of people concentrate, hey man, my sales aren't that much, and you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be like that. It should be honestly what you're able to save by not spending that money. In other words, lower down my expenses. How can I be organically? How can I build my own website? Can I change my own oil? Can I change my own filter? And that's really the main way that I would suspect that you could, you know, save money, if that makes any. Okay, so everybody asked me about this. I'm sorry, the mattresses. So I'm going to get to the mattresses right now. So the mattresses in my area, I've just recently contracted with these people. Like, they sent me a piece of paper. I contracted. I pick up all in Dallas and the Fort Worth area only. Okay. I am contracted to pick them up. They chose my company to do it. This company only works in the DFW area. So they reached out to me. They only do this. So Walmart contracts with other companies, not the company I work for, but other companies, okay? And they do other parts of the state, other parts of the country, other cities, but not here in DFW. So that's something I can't help you with, guys. And, you know, I always give advice. I'm always trying to help people out and stuff. This one I can't help you with, you know. Do I consider population density when entering a new area? You know what, Michael, I don't expand my business. There's people that like to expand Junk Guys. For instance, there's Junk Guys Sacramento, Junk Guys San Antonio, Junk Guys Houston, Junk Guys Austin, Junk Guys Washington, D.C., and a few other Junk Guys. North Texas, JunkGuys Frisco. All of them are .net.com. I mean, they all work with me. I help build the business. It is part of my business, and they are all owners. All of them are owners by themselves. So even though I have these all across the United States, it doesn't make me be a millionaire. Okay. Yes, I do make money, Daniel. I do make money off the program. I don't call it a franchise because I don't make franchising fees. I do not charge franchising fees, but I do make fees off of it monthly, okay? If that's what you're asking. And I think that's a question that should be asked by phone if you call me. You know what I'm saying? Michael always says Massachusetts Load Up has a hold on return contracts. They play close to nothing for their subcontract. You know, I've heard of Load Up, and I did a job a long time ago that Load Up refused to do. I went and did it. Isn't that crazy? So I'm not sure what it was, but I know that they did a job and the person wasn't happy with it, so they hired me to do it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll go get your money. You know, what do I care? You know what I mean? I'll go do that. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, guys, I'm done with this video. I have a consulting call at 8 o'clock p.m. tonight, so I got to take that call. And I will talk to y'all later. I hope y'all appreciate this video. I did a lot of work on it. I thought about it a lot, how to do the video properly. But, you know, to make $1 million, one more time, I'll say it one more time. To make $1 million, you need to make $4,000 a day in revenue. That's just revenue. And that would be $1,040,000, something like that. Who cares? I mean, you're making $1 million. What's $40,000, you know? And then to make any profit, you need to make $8,000 a day. And in the revenue, that's in sales, and then your profit margins should be 50%, and then you'll make $1 million. There you go. So all you got to do is $8,000 a day for 260 working days out of the year, and you will make, and your margins you got to meet two numbers, $8,000, and your margins got to be 50%. So just the 50% in reality is the difficult number to me. Just 50% is difficult. It's so difficult. If you have a staff, you're never going to meet that number. If you're paying for leads, you're never going to meet that number. So let's just get that out of the way, okay? Deuces. I'll talk to y'all later. Marsha, see you later. Not to your husband. I don't like him. Bye-bye, guys. Have a good night. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And for all my YouTube crowd, thank you very much, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.